The Ascension Wars have been going on for 4 years now, and we are still beating up Jomon. And Jomon is also beating up us. Ah yes, this war is still going strong. Let's take a look at another battle in the Mountains of Mist. Here we see again the special snowflake formation Jomon's player came up with. As we saw, it doesn't work too well if you don't use it with archers. This line gets beaten up. Of course, my mammoths get a little bit how should I say this? Blocked from the northern part. Of course, the time it took to me to find the right English words, we already won. Total victory. Then first event, then we get tax loss, then we get an Earth Reader joining us, a pale one with magic abilities, and we are still being sieged and sieging ourselves. Well, our reinforcements are slowly traveling southwards. Now, how best to do? One giant death ball of an army, or do we try 2 armies? Well, let's combine both armies. Of course, now I slowly have to start scripting them since they're close to the front lines now. This turn is another one of those where nothing interesting happens. Except of course for our life and death struggle with Jomon, but since it's just the computer, it's not really... I can't bring myself to care that much about it. Let's crush those thoughts, unify that army. At least the AI is nice enough to split up the armies into easily digestible chunks. Yeah, I want to see what exactly is hiding in Jomon itself, so I'm ordering one scout to attack while the rest of the army waits. There are still 200 units besieging Red Grove and have around 100 in the area. Looks like we have to wait a bit more until we can make sure not to get drawn back again. Of course, now we have to make sure our giant tramplers aren't in the way of the rest of the army. Scripting and positioning time. You know the drill by now. I like putting all my mammoths in the middle, so I can have a lot of them. If I put them in the north or the south, that would work well, I guess too, but I'd run out of space. Besides, most possible enemy formations will have lots of units all over the place, and if I put my tramplers too far north or south, they could easily miss the majority of the enemy troops. So overall, putting your trampler in a huge lump in the middle is always best. Except of course if you have tramplers who aren't prone to panicking easily. My mammoths come after all with the integrated problem of stomping back through my own army if they're getting scared. So I have to take this into account. So I need a nice broad way for them to trample backwards. I think at this point I have mentioned this 3 times again. Well, there is not much to say in this turn. I'm still researching magic. I'm still mostly recruiting my basic armies and then sending them south. Really, nothing new to say here. As you can see, by the way, my Harab Seraphs are nominally always how do I say this? Switching around between death and air magic, which is why late age Caelum really isn't a air nation anymore. Middle age Caelum and especially early age Caelum is all about air. Thunder strikes, hurricanes, air elementals. The amount of magic you can show up with is staggering. Late age Caelum is a bit more complicated. It has a lot more death, but because the best combat spells you can use in death magic need at least a path rank of 2, you run into the little problem of most Harab Seraphs having not enough death magic to be of use, but sometimes also not having enough air magic to be of use, so they're basically, well, I guess I can still do research, and that's it. Later, when I want to script massive armies with dozens and hundreds of mages, this will become really important. Look at this stash for example. Now the single one with, well, okay, two mages with level 2 death and 1 mage with level 2 air. The entire rest is situational. I could use them to forge some nice little items, I can use them to research, and that's basically it. There are some spells I could use as a backup, but with the exception of extreme emergencies, I'm not really keen on doing this, so most of those will sit it out. Here apparently I tried out some low level summoning spell giving me some skeletons with wings. Sadly the wings aren't magic, so those skeletons can't actually fly like the living versions. One of the reasons why Caelum Undeath is a bit bad compared with other nations, because those skeletons are still essentially more brittle versions of normal skeletons, and even though they look like they could fly, they actually can't. So the major draw of bird people is eradicated. But anyway, as long as you don't raise them like I did, but raise them in battle, that's not really relevant, since skeletons are more like a mass weapon. You summon tons and tons of them, and then you let your enemy tire out against never-ending waves of them. And when they are tired enough, then the skeletons can stab them until they start becoming dead themselves. So anyway, more movement. I've decided to try again and send my 100 to 120 units in the west against the sieging army in Redwood Grove. Then my middle army is going on and sieging the fortress of Jomon in the area again, followed by reinforcements to make the siege go faster. Some more recruitment here and there. Still need more leaders for my armies. The leaders recruited last turn have to go to my capital, so I can put some units into them. Yes, more mammoths. 20 new tramplers. 24 of my death archers. And some cheap chaff. Purpose. Dying. As usual. The soaked earth also has some more units I can stick into my commanders, but independent commanders aren't really good at this commanding thing. 40 units is not that much. I'm not sure if I should continue. Maybe I should build some more fortresses. Sooner or later there should be a 4 available solely for commander production. Most I still need for mages, and wow, my dominion is shrinking pretty damn fast in some areas. Ironically, with my pretender down south, it looks like my entire dominion is shifting south, since there's a lot of pressure up north, but not much down here, since I'm slowly killing all the temples from Jomon. But anyway, next turn I'll try to eliminate those stupid pale ones as a threat to my flank. Then it's time for a cleanup. Horde of skeletons. That's a neat little spell. I've already talked about it last a couple turns ago, I think. So that's it for this time. Until the next turn comes, Libluini.